As you're about to see, I've been on a bit of a journey of discovery around the village where I'm presently staying. I've been looking down old footpaths that I used to, walk down many years ago, and some of them haven't been down in a while, and some of them have even forgotten where they went and stuff like this. But one day I decided to go out and take a walk around Hilgay, around the fields, along designated footpaths, towards the pump house, which is part of the water management around here. Just up the way from Hilgay you have Denver Sluice, which manages the water. You have like man-made water courses to prevent flooding and things like that. So I've been down to an old pump house, and since being there, as you'll see when you see this footage, at the time of going down there I didn't really realise that I'd been down there before and what's been going on down there. Since then I've actually remembered being down to the pump house and visiting the pump house, because it used to be open to the public. Now, as you're about to see, the pump house is now a private residence. It's not open to the public anymore, and a lot of the footpath rights around the pump house, basically a lot of signs have been removed, but I'll let you go and see the footage now. This is the first section of my documentary.
There's no sign here. It's very strange that there's no sign. This is a nature reserve place where you used to have open access. You used to be able to walk there. Yeah, but it's been barred off now. They've put a lock on it and there's no sign anymore to say you can walk here. It used to be able to walk here, you see. So I've walked up here. I took pictures that you have seen of the footpath that goes down here. Yeah. But from here, now if there's a footpath, where there's a crossroads, there should be another sign. That's the way it works. There should be signs everywhere, but many of those signs have been removed. So that just looks private down there. I don't even feel confident enough to walk down there. So as I walk down here, I'm assuming that at the end here, there is going to be a sign. Even though there should have been one back at that junction, that crossroads, whatever you want to call it, there should be a sign up here. I will go back to a gate I passed further back down the track, which would be the only other option for this walk, you see, because the road only has so many exit points, and there's a sign, the Norfolk County Council sign, pointing me down here as a public footpath sign, you see. So I'm just not sure where it goes. If it's a route that stops, it should then have a sign pointing me back and saying this is the end of the route, you can go back. I know that's not the case though, because you used to be able to walk here. You used to, like I said, you walk through that gate that's now locked, and you used to be able to walk through the gate with the private sign that I will go back and record now for you. Do you see what I mean? So there's a walkway over there. I'm not sure if that's part of the footpath. It should be signposted. I'm sure this used to be part of the footpath as well, down here. I'm sure you used to have access down here to this pump station. I'm pretty sure that people did. I don't know what's happened though. I think this was part of a designated public footpath network that was arranged around Hilgay, and this property here was part of that, to my recollection. But yeah, so I just thought I'd have a look down here. So as you can see at the end of this road, there's just a domestic property by the looks of it. It looks like someone's living here or something, so it doesn't say private, so I don't know if it is, but I'm just having a look. Yeah, someone's using it as a domestic dwelling. Well, I don't think this used to be a domestic dwelling. Because it is, I don't know, but I'm going to get out of here. But there is no footpath sign, you see. No one's actually put a sign up like a number or a name or anything. So it's a bit ambiguous as to whether it's been commandeered illegally for domestic use by someone, in cahoots with the local council, maybe, I don't know. But there's no footpath sign here, which there should be. There should be a dead end sign. Well, I don't like the word dead end, but there should be like an end of route sign. Now there's a path going around this way, but that just leads me back to there. Is this the public footpath? I'm not sure. I think this must be the public footpath, but there should be signs, you see. Someone's ripped the signs out to try and stop people walking here, I think. Yeah, I think that's what's happened. And ripping out public footpath signs is illegal, and the council not putting them back up is illegal as well, because they're supposed to survey all of these walks and check. I believe there's probably someone employed in Hilgay to check all these walks and make sure that they're all still signed and accessible, you see. I did take pictures of, oh it is, you can go in here. Well, I'm not going to go that way now, but there should be signs, you see. There's no signs on that gate, there should be. Why have they been removed? You know. The same thing is happening over at the mooring spot in Hilgay. See, I don't think this is even a domestic dwelling. I think someone's just taken, this used to be a pump station, you could go and look inside. So why that would now be a private dwelling, I don't know. I believe it was in taxpayers' ownership. You know what I mean? I mean, you can see why they'd like to, because there's a little mooring spot there, but that isn't necessarily theirs, you see. So, as I was saying, over at Hilgay, at the mooring spots there, they've now put a chain across the stairway, which is the public footpath access stairway, to take you up, you see. I went there the other day and there was a chain across saying private moorings. So that is actually illegal to fence off a public footpath. So I'm going to go back there and take a picture of the private mooring chain. If it's been removed, I'll take pictures anyway, to show you where it was and stuff. Anyway, so this is a public footpath by the looks of it, but they've taken all the signs away because they don't want you to walk here. Whoever's taken over this domestic dwelling, potentially, or other local farmers or whatever, they've removed all the signage. I've also noticed that lots of footpaths, you know, in different places, have now got private signs on them. And a lot of the land around here, which is actually legally designated not as private garden land that people can fence off, but it's actually right to roam agricultural land, there's been private signs being put up. Private road, no access and stuff like this. They've done this around Sandringham as well. And they've done this around the local area. I've noticed lots and lots of places where I used to walk have now got private signs up. I might go around and take more and more pictures of these places to show you exactly, you know, I could even plot them on a map, but yeah. So I'm going to go and, well, at some point I'm going to go back to Sandringham and do the same thing. There's a walk between Wolferton and the beach at Sandringham, I think it is. There's a walk there that the Queen went down to when it was opened up officially, because she wanted to publicise it, so she went down there and walked. And I remember that being a news feature, and I've been down there and walked, and there was a car park and stuff. So what's happened is, as the Queen got older, the people running the estate in Sandringham decided to fence off loads of land there and put private signs up and start shooting on there, which the Queen doesn't like. And that walk to the beach was also signposted, put up, and someone, where the car park used to be, someone's built a barn, and that barn is intentionally made to look old, and they've done that right under her nose as she was getting older. Towards that conversation, walked around there. I remember going there now, and I remember there being signposts, and I remember it being all like public footpath and that. The fact all these signs have been removed, there used to be signs back this way as well. The fact all these signs, walking back down the same road, now all these signs have been removed, I'm wondering who's removed them. Because many of those signs were in good condition, and the council are actually obligated to go around and make sure they stay in good condition. Like I said, there's someone that works at the council who is paid to keep an eye on public footpaths and go around and check all the signage. is still healthy and stuff. You see what I mean? They get budget from the government to do that. Now, why all these public footpath signs have been removed, and why these gates with private signs on, or just locks, have been put there. Now, people might see this video, if I post it, and think, oh yeah, I remember that walk. See, it goes out of memory. I've just been down and I forgot that I've been down there, you see? Do you know what I mean? Because it's been many years. But now I've been down, oh yeah, I remember going down there. It was a public footpath. Do you see what I mean? But now all the signage is gone. So there's something highly illegal going on here. Yeah. Now, there might be reasonable explanations. The council might have sold that pump house to a private person. Could have been done legally, could have been done illegally, because it might have been a protected site, you see. But removing all the footpath signs, well, public footpaths are a right of citizens of this country, yeah. And many of the land, not all of the land, but many of the land where there's public footpaths is designated as common land. And like, I know that some of the walks around Hilgay are actually common land. The ones that go between fields and stuff, they're designated as common land, not part of the farmer's land with access. Now, this track here, I'm looking at it, I think this could be one that's owned by the farmer, but there's public access. That doesn't give him the right to move signage though, because it's written into law. And people have a right to roam anyway. So, the right to roam exists on all agricultural land across the whole of England, as long as you don't walk on crops, yeah? Any private land which is attached to a house is designated as private, but you can't just like put a line around your whole piece of land as a farmer and say that's my private land. That's illegal. So I'm now walking back thinking, has there been like some sort of new bills brought in place by the Conservative government which have been swept under the carpet about the taking back of public footpaths which were designated and protected? Do you know what I mean? I've also seen certain walks around Hilgay, which I've taken pictures of as well. There was one where the brambles were just being allowed to grow across. Now I think there's someone supposed to maintain these gates and this signage locally, and he's being paid to do so. But the brambles were being allowed to grow across, which I think is potentially part of a land grab which may be going on. As all these signs have been removed, it makes me think that there is something going on over there as well, and that's why that was growing across. So have the Conservatives put in certain bills with little bits and bobs put in there allowing people to do this. Now if they did do that, they should have notified the general public. They should have ensured that the media said, like the BBC or whatever, said to everyone, as part of this bill there's all this stuff going on, and the BBC should have said, oh, you can go and read it all here. Now whether that happened or not, I presume it didn't. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise there'd have been so much furore about it, and the locals here would have been like, we're going to go around and check, because that's what people are like about their footpaths. But instead they've pulled signage out, and people have kind of stopped walking in places because they put up private signs and made it look less accessible, and it's gone out of mind, you see, that these places still exist. It's like a passive land grab going on. But people who remember where the footpaths were, like me, like all the walks around Sandringham and all the areas of Sandringham which are now fenced off, which I don't believe the Queen agreed with that, because she used to come down to those areas and have a look and be happy that people were enjoying them. And that walk to Wolfton, which has now been reclaimed, right under her nose when she was getting older, she was so happy about that people could walk from Sandringham down to the beach, you see. And I remember her going down there. But yeah, like I said, the car park has now been built on with a barn, and if you walk down that track, instead of it being the track it used to be, they put down like concrete and it's all breaking up. It looks like an old farm track, which I believe wasn't there. And then you go further down and there's like farm buildings which weren't there, but they look like they've been there for ages, which is weird, considering that was a walk, a farmland walk, which the Queen established for people to access. Now around Sandringham, there's loads and loads of pieces of Sandringham which has now had private signs put up, and the gates have been chained, where I've walked within the last 10 years and walked down there, and this has all been fenced off, you see. And they've even put shooting ranges in there, and they put up chairs and that for shooting. Now I know the Queen didn't like shooting, do you know what I mean? She didn't like it at all. She was an animal lover. So this gate here Yeah, this used to be a footpath, and now look, private road, no right of way, it says on there. We now walk back this way. I think someone's even hacked this phone so it doesn't zoom while I make a video for some reason. I don't know why. It used to. I used to be able to zoom it in and out whilst I was in video mode, but for some reason I can't do it. It's a bit strange. I am talking in a slightly different voice to my normal voice, because if this footage does go to local people, I don't want them to necessarily figure out who I am. Well, unless I choose to publicly publish it, but it's just a separation, you see. And that's why I'm putting on a slightly different accent for the purposes of not being easily identified, just in case. I don't want there to be a backlash from local people, like farmers, against me, you see. So, yeah. So yeah, there it says PH, which means pump house, I presume. But yeah. Right, so I'm down at Hilgay mooring, just over the road from the pub's on one side. You walk down past the pub, walk over the bridge. Look, there's a public footpath sign. Hilgay Mooring Boat Club, CCTV in progress. So I'm walking down here. Now, I know there are public footpath signs here, which there should be. You see here, like there's another one not far along, you see? It's like that. When you have public footpaths, they have regular signage. All the way along, they have regular signage. You see what I mean? So, yeah. The regular signage all the way along here, it's still in place. Look, there's a sign there. Obviously, on that other public footpath I showed you just a little while ago, the signage has been removed, you see, and the walks have been changed. Basically, people are claiming it's private land and you can't go on there. Now, like I said, did I say it? You actually have a right to roam in this country on the agricultural land, and around private dwellings you can have private signs, but around on farmland you can't, because people have a right to roam. So all of these farmers or local estates or people who are all colluding to fence all this stuff off and put private signs on it and put gates on it and stuff, it's all illegal. Now along here, these are private moorings, which is fair enough. Yeah, I don't know if it's actually supposed to be publicly accessible, this riverbank. I've got a feeling it might be, but okay, they put signs up there. I'm not sure of the ins and outs of that, but at the bare minimum, if that isn't the case, as in we're not supposed to walk along the top of that riverbank because it's private moorings, which is a bit of privacy. I believe the riverbank isn't owned by them, but anyway, so we walk further along, yeah, and there's a stairway at the end here, which is where you have access to the public footpath. Last time I came down here, there was a chain on this stairway, which is the legal access to the public footpath. Now that chain wasn't on there. It's never been on there for years, because I used to walk down here regularly. But someone's decided recently to put the chain on. This suggests to me that someone's trying to steal away the rights for people to walk here. So, and also, like I said, did I say so? In Hilgay, there's a gate which had brambles growing over it, which I cleared, and it has a bridge made of sleepers, which has been left to overgrow. Now the person who works here around here is supposed to maintain these. He should walk these regularly. He should have noticed this, yeah, and he should have asked them to remove that. You can't expect people to walk up this steep bank. It is quite steep, especially for people with limited mobility. They can manage them steps to get up there, you know. So now, because they've put that chain across, I've got to walk up here. You see what I mean? Right, and then I walk along here to the riverbank. Now I know I took pictures of this already. I just thought I'd come and do a video with commentary. So So I believe what they're trying to do is stop people walking here so they can take down the signage, or just allow the signage to erode and then just claim the land. You see what I mean? Now some of this land may be owned by the farmers, other bits are owned by the people. This walkway here along this riverbank could be common land. You see, there's the field, and there's a ditch over there, then there's land, and then there's a riverbank. Now I think the riverbank is probably common land, you know what I mean? And these private moorings that are on this strip of land here are actually on common land, but they have permission to run private moorings here. That is my inkling, although I'm not really sure. But yeah, so anyway. So I will also add to this that along this riverbank there are public footpaths that go all the way to the sugar factory. And if you go down here and bear to the left, over there, there's public footpaths that go across towards other villages on the other side. I'm not sure of their names, but they're over in that direction. Yeah, and that was public footpath. I've noticed someone's put private signs up over there as well, on this road which leads across that way in that direction. And all the signage there was a sign along here to say there's public footpath. The signage has all been removed, and all the signage along that goes across there has been removed, and private signs have been put up. And all the way along here, all the way down to the sugar factory, there used to be public footpath signage, which has all been removed, and you can walk right up towards the sugar factory, you know, and you can walk past the sugar factory. It's all public footpath. Now whether people want you to be walking there or not, I'm not sure, because they're trying to land grab this, I am sure. I'll walk down to that bit I just mentioned, and I'll take some footage and just show you there's no signs at the junctions, at the crossroads and stuff for the public footpath, and that people have put up private signs, you know. I mean, I could walk all the way down to the sugar factory and show you that there's no signage there. It's easy to go down there and look, do you know what I mean? Because it's all been removed, because I've walked down there a few years ago, you know. And obviously this is just, it's grating on me now that this land grab's going on under everyone's noses, you know. So yeah, so there are lots of places you can walk around here. Obviously there's agricultural land which you have a right to roam on, and then there's lots of riverbank walks and stuff as well, ones which people in theory used to be able to fish. I don't think they have rights to do that anymore, I'm not sure, but anyway. So but yeah, all of the signage to say that all these riverbanks and things are like public footpaths and stuff, a lot of the signage has been removed, because I can't remember seeing any signage. Now if you're local and you know that you can walk down there, that's fair enough. What about people who drive past and think, oh yeah, we could walk there? You remove all the signage and you stop floating pedestrians from turning up and walking, you see. Then they use the reduction in numbers to maybe justify trying to close down public footpaths. Now legally speaking, you can't do that. Public footpaths which are designated, and public footpaths which are on common land, yeah, so on private land and common land, are all supposed to be openly accessible. You can't erode that, take that away, or try and snatch it back. It's written into the, more or less, the Constitution of the UK, you know, that they shouldn't do that. Now, all this signage should still be up, and the local council should be paying someone to maintain all the signage. But what I think's happened is, potentially the council or people who are supposed to maintain the signage have actually been going around removing it all. So it's a bit difficult. Do you know what I mean? And like, people who do just want to turn up, who come up from London or wherever and see public footpath signs all over the place, they think, oh yeah, we can have a walk down there, that'll look nice. That looks nice. Now they know they've got a right to roam, because legally speaking they do, on all agricultural land and all riverbanks as well. Now it's not beyond the realms of possibility that someone privately owns a riverbank and it could be part of their garden and you can't walk down it. But I don't believe any of that round here is designated in that way. So it's pretty much all open, yeah? Now if you did want it to be a private riverbank and wanted to apply for the rights to keep it private, you would certainly have to do that. But I can't think of any instance of that ever being the case, to be fair, that it would ever be doable to do that. Because as I said, riverbank land is kind of thought of as the same as agricultural land, with people having open access to walk down there. Now, if I owned a riverbank, I don't think I'd mind people walking up and down. You know, I might even put some nice gardens in for them. But yeah, never mind. So this gateway is another example of willful neglect. I think it's just being left so that people will stop using it. There's brambles making it awkward and dangerous. You'll cut your hands when you're trying to open this gate. I mean, that shouldn't be across here anyway. The signs aren't, you can't hardly see them. There's stinging nettles there. Nobody's going to want to bring their kids through here. Do you know what I mean? There's nettles across the walkway. This is just being left. I mean, okay, there's leaves on here, just needs sweeping off, but it's just like a pattern of behaviour around here. The guy who's supposed to be going around maintaining these gateways and making sure the signs are visible and there's no brambles growing across, this should have all been cut back, you see. Now this isn't as bad as the other one. The other one was like solid brambles halfway across, but you can see, like, in another year, if this is left, this gateway may be swallowed up by brambles. Now, is anyone going to come down here and fix it? Probably not. Not from the pattern of behaviour I've seen on the other gateways. So this is Hilgay as well. You know, a public footpath in Hilgay. To me, you know, that gateway obviously needs to be cleared, and you know, people walking through there, and there are people walking through here, you can tell from the path that people are walking here, but there's another bit of bramble there. There should be someone walking through here and just ensuring there's no, like, dangers for kids coming through here, you know, like no brambles. Look, there's no more brambles there. That should be cut back. I know this is a woodland setting, but just to come through here quickly and just cut back the brambles a little bit. It's not for the general public to fight with brambles. You leave this for a year or so, these brambles here would grow across this path. Why should I have to come here and battle with it? Now, the fella who's paid to do this, I don't think he's doing it. Do you know what I mean? This public footpath sign could be swallowed up by bits growing around it soon enough as well, you know. Plus this needs painting. I mean, that's at the point now where it really needs painting with varnish or something to prevent it from getting ruined. And as you can see from the other ones I've seen, nobody bothered painting them and they are ruined now. So the guy who's being paid to do this, to go around and maintain this signage and do all this work, he's not doing it. come back down to the gateway that I cleared of brambles down here. Now, all the signage wasn't visible and brambles were growing right across. If you look here, I've dug this out a little bit because it was all covered in soil and stuff. I dug it back to there. I might come down here and remove the rest. Now here, there is a sign there, and a public footpath sign there, which has fallen down. Now all these brambles were grown halfway across this gate to here. Yeah, and all the signs were covered. And on that side there was more brambles spread across there. As you can see, they've recently been cut back. Can you see that? Can you see the evidence of them recently being cut back? Yeah, massively being cut back. Right the way back. They're right across here. Now the guy who's supposed to keep this clear and keep the signage in good condition isn't doing his job, but I presume he's taking money from the council to do it. So I've done this once before, cleared this of brambles, yeah, but someone's allowed it to happen again, yeah. And that sign, I fixed it, yeah, I actually fixed it, but someone's come down here and broke it again. I'm going to have to fix it again. Now, I'm going to have to run some hefty screws in there this time, I think. Do you know what I mean? So, well, obviously whatever I did last time wasn't good enough. I didn't document it, but I will document it fully this time. And there's also, if you go up here this way, at the end here, there's like a field. Just up here. I'm just pointing the camera around to establish, you know, geographical context for where I am. The tree lines, the houses. I don't want to encroach on people's private land and point cameras at their houses without permission, but the only reason I'm doing this is to evidence the possibility of criminality. Now, I've walked down here before, and there's been a walkway through here, a public footpath, which has disappeared completely. And now all there is alpacas in the field, which may or may not have been here before. It's not really relevant. I'm pretty sure you could go, well no, I know you could go through here. I know there was a footpath, but it's completely gone. All there is now is a gate. So, yeah, this is what's happening in Hilgay. So my suspicions about land grabs are definite. There's gateways that have now been marked as private. This footpath has actually disappeared, which was there. The brambles are being left to grow across here, and I've cleared it back recently. So this all points to me to some sort of collusion going on with the local landowners and people that live here to seize back common land and to fence off certain public footpaths and say they're now private. I believe there's a field down on the side of the river, on the pub side. You used to be able to walk right through into the field, and I think there used to be a public footpath that you went all the way along, and that's all disappeared as well. I believe there's a gate on there now. I might go down there one day and take evidence of it. So this footpath now is now visible and usable again, whereas it wasn't before. And I've cleared a lot of the brambles here. Why is that back across there? I cleared those brambles that were there because they put people, I mean, if you come down here with your children and want to walk through here, there's brambles everywhere. You're scared to bring your kids down here. People stop using it and people forget about it, and then they can take the signs down and it's like a passive land grab. My suspicions are that this is occurring, and there's direct evidence of it. Now, if that person bought that land where the alpacas are kept, and they bought that land from the council, that would be an illegal purchase, because public footpaths are protected as common land is protected. Access has to be maintained, yeah? To take that away, you have to break the Constitution of the UK to take away the rights to access to those footpaths, because, you know, there's no reason for someone to just close off a footpath so they can have private land in their back garden. You see what I mean? They don't have a right to do that. That footpath has been there for many years, and I remember walking down there. So that's disappeared, that alpaca one. That's a strong, very strong evidence, well, direct evidence that this is going on. So all the other evidence which is pointing to various stages of this potentially happening is also highly suspicious. So yeah, legally speaking, I don't want to directly say this is definitely going on, but evidence points to the fact that these things are possibly happening. It wouldn't surprise me if once that gate over there had grown right over, that these signs would have disappeared. They've changed the locks on this gate, like they've done on them other gates. Now, the fact that all of these signs have been left to rack and ruin and haven't been maintained. Now, I'm looking at a sign right now, which is at the other end of that field I was just talking about, and I've run out of space on my phone, so I'm uploading videos. So I'm using a voice recorder instead. Now, there's 2 sheep in a field here. There's a sign just over the way that says Aries security protection, which is over near some huts. I'm just trying to establish where I am. Now, there's a sign here which I'll take a picture of. I've already taken pictures of it. I can refer back to it, of a bleached out by the sun footpath sign, which is hardly legible. This shows that there's willful non-maintenance of signage of this walkway that goes across this field. Now, this field used to have fences all the way across from one footpath entrance to the other, which was a clear designation of where the footpath ran, so you knew where to walk. You walked straight across the field. Now all the fences have been taken down, and it's quite confusing. I've walked out here from this end and been like, where's the other side? I couldn't remember. So then I walked across. Oh yeah, it's over here, I remember. But it's been like made fuzzy, so people can't really see where to go. Now, if you didn't know this place, you wouldn't have a clue. There should be a sign in the middle of the field to point across to the next part, you see, to the next part of the footpath, because it used to be delineated by the fence, and now the fence is gone. So now I'm walking up further, and my videos aren't necessarily going to upload in time for me to take more video, but I just thought I'd have a chat as I walk along. So now I'm walking along where there still is 2 fences which delineate the footpath, and there's 2 sheep in the field, which I've taken pictures of before, I believe. And I'm walking down to those other signs I've taken pictures of before. They aren't in a great state, to be fair. And down here there should probably be one of those wooden public footpath signs as well. So as you walk past, you see them. You see what I mean? Like the one at the other side, which I'm going to repair, there should be one on this side as well. And there isn't, which means that there's been willful neglect of signage by people I suspect are potentially colluding to steal this land from public access, if you see what I mean. So yeah, I'm just double checking, there's no proper public footpath sign here, you see. And if I walk to the roadway, which is right next to the access point, there's Hilgay charity, no parking in front of gate. There's a footpath access here as well, I think. I haven't even gone over there. There's also a house here, old stable yard, and Pingle Villa, and there's a new great big house which looks really nice actually, and that's called Mulberry House. So on this road there should be a public footpath sign, probably at the far end, so people know it's down here. And then as you walk down here to the old stable yard, there should be, oh there it is, there's one there. Now this public footpath sign here, it's not easy to see, it's half in a bush. Public bridleway it says. Ooh, I'm not sure if it, well anyway, I don't like horse riding. I mean, I think that should be illegal, if it isn't already. I mean, you'd like to think it was. I mean, it's hard to know in this age where we're fed disinformation, where there's willful neglect of sharing information. So there's this sign here, public bridleway, but you walk past, maybe there should be a wooden sign here. I think there probably should be. I mean, there's all kind of one there. There's those little yellow badges. It's not clear though. I mean, if these were bleached out as well, I mean, they are still there and you can still see them. But it doesn't look very appetising. The fella who's supposed to mow down there, he's just left it. It's not been mowed. I think that might be the same guy who's supposed to maintain signage. There's like stinging nettles, and I've been going along there stamping on little thorny things so my dog could walk through there. My little poochy friend, I should say, she's not mine. I don't believe in ownership of dogs. You know, I believe they're their own people and they should have their own houses. But anyway, so this should be mowed, and I've walked down here, it's been mowed before, but no, it's been left. It's to make it unappealing to local kids and mothers with young children to walk down there, I suppose. Yeah. I don't like it. It should all be maintained. So, public footpath signage being safe and maintained is important, because people can walk in the wrong direction sometimes. They can fall down ditches and break their legs and then drown or whatever, bang their head. Also, having brambles growing across gateways, when there's kids walking through these public footpaths, well, children lose their eyesight to brambles. Now I should be able to go through a public footpath gate, yeah, without having to contend with brambles growing halfway across it. It's a shame I didn't take the pictures before before I went through there. I cleared it first, but then my suspicions weren't as raised then. But you could see all the evidence, and you could take my word for it that the brambles were growing right way across that gate. Do you know what I mean? They were halfway across, yeah. I mean, anybody who's an expert could probably tell somehow, I don't know, that it was covered over. Anyway, the point is that all of these public footpaths, the gates, the signs, for safety reasons, should all be maintained to the highest standard. Now that public footpath sign, because it's rotten and falling off, that could fall off on someone's head. Imagine if that fell when a child was walking through that gate, and the sign fell on their face and went into their eyeball, you know, or then they fell into the brambles. Do you know what I mean? That's why we have to maintain these things. So, not non-maintenance, willful neglect of signage, which can potentially become dangerous when not maintained, is a problem. And the removal of signage, so people walk off down public footpaths, you know, like near the pump house, there's signs taking you down that way, but then the rest of the signs are gone. So now it becomes a danger, really, because you don't really know where to go. Now, I'm not saying it's a massive danger down there necessarily, but if you extrapolate this out across the whole country, and all the signage where there could be similar land grabs going on across the country, potentially, that's the potential, there could be all sorts of dangerous places where signs have been removed and people could potentially fall into very dangerous places or hurt themselves. That's a strong problem for me. So I've just walked past the school in Hilgay and I'm walking past the church. I'm now walking past the old rectory, and I'm going to continue walking along here until I come to a sheep's field and a public footpath sign. Walking past this road here in Hilgay. That sign there has recently appeared, private land, it says. I think someone's put barbed wire around that side of there as well. You used to be able to walk through there. It's a part of a public footpath network. I'm now getting closer to the public footpath. Just up here on the right there's a kind of lay-by type thing on the corner where you can park. And then there's a footpath sign leading you off into the field. Here I am at the public footpath sign. Another public footpath sign left in disrepair. It almost looks like someone's been tugging on it to try and just break it or something. It should be in good state of repair. It doesn't look that old. The guy who's supposed to look after this should have come out here and checked this. He's supposed to walk these paths and check. This isn't even concreted in. So that needs looking at. The guy who's taking a wage from the council, also known as the taxpayer, who I believe has got, you know, spare plastic signs and, you know, the equipment to I mean, this needs a coat of varnish as well, otherwise it's going to deteriorate as well. There's a bit of woodworm in there. We're going to have to sort that sign out. As we walk off down this footpath, we're now walking on a designated footpath. Now this footpath connects with other footpaths which run around the back of the church over there. Where I walked past that private land sign, which I said was part of the footpath network, I'll go back there later near the church and show you what's been going on over there. But for now we're just going to walk this footpath, which kind of takes you over in that direction towards Southery, the adjoining village. I've just come from there, I've walked along the field here, and I'm going around this field like this and then over to that corner where the footpath used to run. There was an access there and one a bit further along. What I'm going to do is first walk right down there and show you where the other I believe there's another footpath sign over there. Now what's happened here is there's a footpath sign there, and in theory it goes around this field over to there, and that's all you've got now. Whereas before, this connected right through to Southery. But I'll talk to you more about that as I go. Now on the other side of that field in that corner I mentioned, there is a public footpath sign here. But it's inadequate. It should say public footpath that way and that way. So I believe that sign isn't the correct sign to be there, because there's a footpath back this way, as that one showed. There's one that goes over there. Again, incorrect signage. Why? I'm now walking back to the other corner of this field where I said the footpath used to go through. I'll show you the problem over there and why the person who's supposed to maintain the footpaths around this area, the signage, and make sure the footpaths are clear and free of, you know, obstruction. I'm going to show you why there's a problem over here. And there's no signage as well, which is also a bit an issue. So over to this far corner here I'm going. So as I think I mentioned before, if not I'll mention it now, all junctions on a public footpath are all sort of parts in the road where you've got crossroads or, you know, a T-junction or whatever, a different route that you can take. It's not safe to have incorrect signage on public footpaths, because people may end up walking, you know, in directions they shouldn't. Now we do have a right to roam in this country and we can roam across the fields, but you have to be sensible about that and walk along the edge of the field. But with public footpaths, people tend to think there's a route, and if the signage is incorrect, people could potentially end up, you know, if the signs are falling over, people could potentially end up going into a dangerous position. Instead of trusting their own senses as they roam around freely with the right to roam across the agricultural land in this country, they end up thinking, oh, the footpath goes through there because the sign's pointing that way, but the signage hasn't been maintained, so you've now got a danger, you see. This is why signage should always be correct and in good state of repair. Now here, in this corner, there used to be a way through this way, which it might not look like it, but you go through this way and there was a path through that way. Oh, sorry. There's a path through that way. I'm just going to go back and show you. We go back out this way. I'll show you where the path proper was. Now in this corner there used to be a sign, a footpath sign, which is gone. Now, to my memory, it was in good state of repair, so there was no reason for it to be gone. Loads of brambles have grown across here, across this corner of the field. See where we are? We're right in the corner. The path used to go straight through there. So the guy who regularly walks these walks to maintain them hasn't done his job here. In fact, it's almost like someone's facilitated bramble growth here. So the sign's gone and the path is completely blocked. You wouldn't want to go through there. So I'm forced to go this other way, which you can still get through. As Because I have knowledge of these paths, because when I moved here 9 years ago or so, I walked these paths. I can remember where they went. I think I'm going to dispense with disguising my voice. I think it's a bit silly. And I'm not that scared of the local people. So right, basically, through this way, there was a path. Now that way is blocked by brambles. But I know that the path went this way. It's just this tree has been left to grow across, you see. That would have been, you'd have been able to get past that. Now I'm here, it's a bit easier to get through. This was a path, believe it or not, but it's just been left. And the pathway went across this way to meet up where that other path would have come through there. The other path would have come through there. Where exactly, I'm not sure. I think along the edge of this little dip here, something like that. It's so overgrown you can't see. But yeah, so I've come through that way. And I remember walking along here, which was nice and clean and free. And you know, there's no stinging nettles and stuff. And you could walk around this tree, which has grown across slightly. Again, the path's blocked to this point here. So at this point here is like a T. Back that way is a footpath as well, and this way is where I'm going to show you. Now if I walk back this way, now this isn't the corner of that field I just showed you, this is just over the hedge, and just along the next field there was an entranceway to the footpath here, which you can still more or less get through quite nicely, but there is no signage, which there should be a sign here saying the footpath goes down there. People have been resorting, like someone I know has been resorting to walking around that way along the field, but you should be able to walk along here. That's the corner of the field there. You can nip through the bush there. So this bit here used to be a footpath through here. That's the church. That's the block of land near the church over there, which someone now is claiming as private land. Put new signs up. I have noticed one of those signs has been ripped down by someone. I'm not sure what happened there, but I'll show you that later. I'm just going to take you along the Sovereign footpath, which goes this way. So local people watching this video will be like, oh yeah, I remember this. I remember this. Now there's a great big dip there, and the pathway goes along here. Now you wouldn't necessarily think it was a pathway, because it's been willfully neglected by the man who's supposed to maintain it. It becomes quite difficult to get through. Again, there's brambles, like look, all of these stinging nettles and stuff. He should really be running through here with a strimmer or a ride-on mower or some sort to keep this clear. As it is a public footpath, it's basically designated akin to common land, really. Now there's a bramble wall there. Might not be easy to see on the camera, but you can't walk through that way. So I'll go around this way. Now you used to be able to do that. You used to be able to walk along here or along, you know, along here or along there, because it was all nice and clear. A nice clear footpath to walk along. You would either walk along this side of these trees, this line, or this side. And I remember coming down here. It was very nice. So if I keep walking along here, it doesn't look like a path anymore, because the signs have been taken down and the way has been barred. There hasn't been a footfall down here, if you know what I mean. So walking along here, the other day I saw on the floor a shotgun shell sitting on the floor. I might see if I can quickly find it, unless someone's picked it up. And I believe that's a poisoning station for pheasants. And there is a feeding station further up there for pheasants. Now, a shotgun shell on a public footpath with feeding stations for pheasants suggests people have been shooting here, which would be illegal on a public footpath. Let me just see if I can find that shell. Right, so I found that shotgun shell, which is right on the footpath here. This is the footpath. Now I've walked down from where that poisoning station was over there, or feeding station, poisoning station. I will walk back that way just to show you where I am. Now this shotgun shell here shows that someone's been shooting here on a public footpath, which is illegal and dangerous, because anyone could walk here at any time of day. Now, people haven't necessarily been walking here, but that's not the point. This is a designated footpath. This has been left to overgrow. At the end of the footpath, well, this point in the footpath, this was nice. This was beautiful along here. Just to walk along here, along these trees, along this footpath. And there's a bramble barrier which should be cleared. Now I'm going to walk back just to show you that I'm still in the same place. From where that shotgun shell I found was, from here, yeah, it's definitely a shotgun shell. See, this is the edge of Hilgay there, just to provide context for where this shotgun shell is. Yeah, this is a public footpath that I'm standing on. I may pick that shell up now I've established context for it. So back along here, the way I've just come, which is quite difficult to walk along because, like I said, the footpath hasn't been maintained. But if you keep walking in this direction, this is basically where you could walk along here. I'll keep going straight back. See, that's the direction of where the footpath goes. So over here, if you can see, that's what I believe people try and use to kill pheasants. They feed them, they poison rats and things like that. I don't believe in poisoning or killing, so I don't know what this is. Some sort of corrosive liquid in there. There's pellets in there which are feed for pheasants probably, and this box underneath, I don't know, I'm not sure, but I have seen similar things which are used once they're in a state of usage, used to poison and feed. Obviously I've seen little holes cut out at the bottom of these sorts of things, and through the little holes, which are about big enough for small birds to get through, they put poison for rats and mice to stop them taking the feed. Well, what you don't realise is that thousands and thousands of birds go in there, eat the poison feed and get killed. Wild birds, you see, which are protected by law. So these sorts of poisoning stations are illegal in this country because, I'm walking back along the path, because they poison wild animals, you see. Protected species of birds die because of that. Very tempted to pick up this shotgun shell and take it away. I don't know if it could be used forensically to establish who's been shooting on this public footpath, but I will take it. I'm not sure if it's the right thing to do, but if I leave it, someone could come and pick it up, you see, and then I won't have any evidence once someone sees this film. So if I take it, I've got evidence. I've established context for it, obviously. It was right. This is Hilgay house line over there with the water tower. The shell was just there on the ground, as I've already shown you. Come up back up to this end of the path, and there's a bracket, there's a load of thorns and you know, it was basically blocked by all of those thorns and stuff. You can't get through there, but this is the path. You could just walk straight through that way, so what I might do is insist on walking that way, like this. I might have to ask for compensation for my clothing. Again, stinging nettles here, walking along this path. I mean, you can't really see that it was a path because it's so overgrown. You know, you could walk on this side as well. I might just go along this side because I can get through. You see, so we're still going in this direction on those two sides of the tree. The two, basically a double path that goes on either side of that tree line. Now here, you could walk that way to get onto the path there, or go straight through that way. again, it's a bit of a barrier. Now over here, we do have a feeding station, which shows you that they're feeding pheasants here to shoot them here on this public footpath, which is dangerous. I don't see a poisoning station, but normally these go hand in hand with poisoning stations. They have feeding stations and poisoning stations together, so that any animal that comes here thinks about taking a feed, they'll get poisoned. Now there isn't a poisoning station here, but there is that one back there. I'm not going to dig through it. Maybe there is poisoned feed over there. Maybe that feed in that bag is poisoned. I'm not going to check it out because I don't feel inclined to go fiddling around with poisonous materials. So the footpath went there. You could go down onto this path here, which is wide enough for cars to go along. The footpath went through there, straight through there. People will remember this. Now they're watching this. And then we go up to a gate here. Come to the end of this part of the footpath. There was a sign here saying footpath. Basically there's no sign here anymore saying footpath. But what we do have is Woodhall private. So now there's two problems with this. One, this is a public footpath, so you can't put a private sign up and say it's yours. This is like land stealing. Whether they own the land or not, there was access through here, or I think this might have been common land, which now they're trying to take. I don't really know the answers to that. But the other problem is people in this country have a right to roam. When a farmer puts up a private sign, he can only put a private sign on the land around his house. Any other land, agricultural land, is open access. You have a right to roam. So all of these private signs are illegal, inherently illegal anyway, I will say. Now we're going to walk along here. There used to be a bit you could walk through there to cut this corner off. It's gone. I think it was about there. It's all overgrown. Again, this is part of the footpath network which should be maintained. If you go that way, down to the road, there should be a footpath sign. There's even a pavement to come down here, because there used to be a playing field down here, a community playing field, which has been taken back, signs taken down. I'll show you that in a minute. So here, at the end of this road, they haven't been brazen enough to put a private sign. They've basically said, this is a farm, you can only come on here with protective clothing, which is basically like saying this is private. I'll show you that sign. I'll record it and put it on this documentary. Right, so you come down here, and that's off to Sovery, public footpath down to Sovery. We're going that way. Obviously the local people who are farming here, whether they have the rights to or not, I don't know, they're putting up signage to prevent people going here, which is illegal because people have a right to roam. Now down here there was a playing field, community playing field. The sign's been taken down and the gate has been secured so you can't get through it. So if children came down here a few years ago, whenever they did this, they saw they couldn't get on the field anymore, they might be like, oh, we can't go there anymore, and they'll stop coming here, you see, which is basically why the footfall through these paths has disappeared, because there's no draw for people to come through here. Now these buildings over here, residential buildings, I don't even remember them being here. So I mean, they look old, don't get me wrong, but I don't remember them being here, which seems a bit strange. Anyway, I'm going to walk down to the playing field now. There's a lot of people living down here now. There's quite a few cars. Not sure what's going on. I don't know if it's just residential or whatever. Right, so I'm going to continue to walk down here. Right, so I'm at the playing field now. This would have been community land, common land, and this was the field, which was a playing field. I remember coming here with my daughter and playing, and there being kids here. There was a sign there, and this is the gate. The gate has been secured, the sign's been removed. Now the field used to be nice, it used to be flat, you could play football on it. Now it just looks like a bit of a marshy type bog type setup. Looks really rough. I don't know why that would be the case, why it would look rough when it used to be so, it used to be like a playing field. So yeah, I don't know what's happened here, but the children don't come down here anymore because the gate is locked, the sign's been removed. They wouldn't really feel confident maybe to go here. You can walk across to the other side, the other corner of this, where there was another footpath through. There were various footpaths here. If you go across to the other side of this field here, there's a copse of trees through the middle there, some woodland, and there used to be paths through that as well. I'll show you that now. So the children used to come down here, play on this playing field here, and play in this copse of trees here, which I'm about to show you. They used to go down there, go across, and there's another bit of woodland across there, and they used to play in there as well. But no children are coming down here now because there's been a willful effort to block footpaths and take signage down. So the kids don't play in these places anymore because there's been a willful neglect of the public footpaths that come down here, and the signs have been taken down. There's no footpath sign and community playing field sign over on the road, which there should be. There's just a sign there saying you can't come on here unless you're wearing protective clothing, which is again illegal to say so because this is a right to roam land. Now there's no issues with the land, there's no disease in the land, so there's no reason for there to be any restrictions on people walking on this land with their legally supported right to roam. Now here, there's these trees here. Children used to play in here. I remember I came in here, I went in there with my daughter at one point, and there were children playing in these trees, and there was a pathway through across to the other side, which I'll show you later, in the corner of the playing field, which is there. You could go across that way, and there was ways through, footpath ways through, either through here or across the playing field. I haven't been able to find those. I went over that side and I had a little look, and then there were fences there. I don't know how accessible it is. I'll have another look during this light of the day because it was a bit dark when I was looking. So yeah, so kids used to go along here and play in those trees over there. I won't go over there today, but it's nice, and you could go over there and play. Now there is somewhere here, there's a little wooden bridge across here, but you can't see it. Now if I was the guy maintaining the footpaths around here, I would have kept that clear for the kids. There's a little plank that goes across which facilitates you going across there and playing, which was there for the kids, you see. You can't see it now. I did go over there the other day and look back, and we found it. It's somewhere in here. This should all be chopped back. Well, where the I mean, I like stinging nettles, but where the little bridge is, just chop it back so people can walk through. Do you see what I mean? Now if I was a nice farmer, which I would be, I would do that. Or I would liaise with the local footpath man who keeps the footpaths clear, who maintains the signage and walks them and keeps them clear, who's paid by the council to do that. I would liaise with him and figure out how to do that. That's not happening. Right, I'm going to walk across here to this corner to a gate and show you where the footpath went towards Southerly. But before I get there, people used to walk here as well, along this edge of the field. Now I look over there, now there were kids playing over here. I don't know if you can just see it in the distance there. Another pheasant feeding station, which suggests that shooting's going on here, which shouldn't happen if you've got kids being allowed to play in here and on the playing field. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'll show you where this is from the other side, but I'm just going to walk through this way, down this way, which would be probably the main way people would walk. Not necessarily, people may have walked that way, but this was, I definitely remember a signpost up here. I imagine there might have been a public footpath sign there. I can't quite remember, but down here there definitely was. It's not there anymore. Moving across to this side where that sign should be, I have noticed is it a beet pad over there? There's certainly a pile of beet there. Now they were there the other day, a good few days ago. They shouldn't be there because the temperatures are rising during the daytime. All that sugar beet should be in cold store at the sugar beet factory. As soon as it's harvested, it should go, or it should be kept in a cold store here. It shouldn't be just left out to the elements, you see, because then things can decay, toxins can arise, and it causes problems with the sugar. So I don't know why that's been left there for the amount of time it has. I presume it's been there for a lot longer than just a few days. If you can't quite see it, it's there. Now people used to leave sugar beet out on beet pads, until people figured out that it wasn't that great to do that, and they should just get it off and get it into a cold store. Now this sugar beet, it's not even sitting on a beet pad, it's sitting on the field. So when someone comes and scoops that up, they're going to scoop up rotten ones on the bottom, they're going to scoop up parts of the field, and this is not the way that the sugar industry should run. See, just on the field. So there's the sugar beet, and here's the gate at that corner. Now you can just walk around the gate, you can get through the gate. It's in a state of disrepair, it would be difficult for people to get through it. It looks like it's falling apart, it hasn't been maintained. It should have been painted. As part of the footpath network, this should have been painted. It's basically been made inaccessible by neglect, willful neglect, intentional damage, I don't know. There's no signage here to say the footpath's here. Now this footpath runs to Southerly. I'm just going to walk around the gate because it's easier for me rather than mess around with it. And I'm going to walk along here towards those trees over there. Like I said, there's no footpath sign here, which there should be. Right, so I'm walking along here. With people having a right to roam in this country over agricultural land, people running around with shotguns shooting at things when there could be people walking around in clothing that may or may not be distinct enough to see, it's not really the way forwards, is it? That's why so many people in this country are injured by guns each year accidentally, you know. Come from there, and I'm now walking up here. On this side, on that far side, if we just come around this corner of these trees here, down there is the playing field, the edge of the playing field, which used to have a footpath run through it, which used to go across that way and round here. And there's a couple of houses over here. You could walk around those houses on either side. The footpath runs on either side of the houses. But like I said, it's very difficult to get through there now, and if you can at all. Fencing's been put up, and you can't put fencing over for public footpath. So I've come from there, the playing field's over there. Right, I'm walking this way, which is where the footpath goes. Again, there's no signs here to tell me which way to go. Because I remember where it went, I'll go along here. So I could walk across that way towards another track which goes back that way, which you used to be able to go that way and then go back round to cut across to the playing field. Yeah, I'll walk that way in a little while. We're walking up this way. You walk down this little hill, past the barns, there's a house on that side, and then you come to a T, you go left, which takes you to the which would be the east side of Southerly, or you go that way, which would take you into Southerly, you know, to the right. There are issues with this, what's been going on down there. I'll explain as I go. The barns here, there's the houses there, and I'm walking up to the kind of main track, you might say, along here. You can walk up that way, like I said. We'll walk around that way later. I'll definitely show you that later. So if I walk across here, this is the T-junction I mentioned. That way to go to the east side of Southerly, that way to go into Southerly, westish side, shall we say. So you can go that way, all the way down to the main road, and then turn right and go to Southerly, or you can go this way. I'm going to walk this way and show you the issues down here. Now this is right to roam land anyway, but this also is a public footpath, so there shouldn't be any signs saying private and stuff like that. The only reason they put signs up is to prevent people walking here, which is basically trying to steal public footpath from the general public. Now I think some footpaths run on private land, which is fine. That doesn't mean you can put up a private sign. People have either the land is owned as common land, or it's right for access. They've got a right to access it. But like I said, with the right to roam, you have the right to access any agricultural land at all. So the only land you can't access is immediate private gardens around the house. The management of the land and maintaining access, or having a fluid interactive type of access where certain parts of land are open to the public sometimes and not other times, that has to be clearly delineated by signage which goes up. I haven't seen any such signage, so I'm still walking down. I've just come from that way where the barns are. I'm walking around this corner, walking up that way towards a gate, and I will talk to you about that when I get there. This is just agricultural land. There's another load of trees there which we walked past earlier. I would have thought the kids used to play in there. I haven't seen kids playing in those trees. I would have thought they would have been playing in there. There's no problem with that, as long as they're not damaging things. You know, they have a right to access the land. So anyway, I'm just walking around this corner, which was from that direction back this way. There's a gate there which has got a lock on it. Was that a footpath? It looks like it could have been. Someone's locked it though. With a right to roam, it shouldn't be locked anyway. I mean, I could climb over that gate and injure myself, couldn't I? So, but here's the main gateway over here. Now, I'm sure there's similar things going on. If I walked further, there'd be similar things going on across the land. But so here, what we have is a gateway without a gate. We have a sign saying private road. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean I can't go there? I've seen lots of private signs up saying you can't go there, private road. Now, private road suggests they're saying you can't go there. Now, the road isn't private because we have a right to roam across it. It should say there should be a footpath sign here. Now, we have got footpath sign here and here, and there's even like an image of a slave horse being enslaved and treated like a non-person, which is disgusting. Don't know why that sign's there. So we've got public footpath signs there, you know, going down that way and that way. So this still is part of the footpath system. They've just decided to say you can't go down there anymore. Someone's changed the signage. Now, I'm going to walk down there and explore it one day to see where it goes. It's not really relevant to what I want to do today though. So I might come down here again and explore that on another day. I just want to cover what's happening here. So I'm going to walk back up to the barns. Bit of context, over there is the sugar factory pumping out gas which they shouldn't be pumping out. They should actually be capturing that gas. All of the gas that they're pumping out, you run through a water filtration system and you grab all of the elements that you're pumping out into the air and you reuse them. It's recycling. That is probably, well, I don't think it's just steam. I would like to analyse that and check, but it shouldn't be being pumped out unless it's just water. But if it was just water, why would you pump it out? You'd probably pump it through a pipe into a water reservoir. Do you know what I mean? Not into the air. I would imagine that they're pumping something into the air they shouldn't there. I'd like it checked. It certainly doesn't look very good. Some people just don't like the aesthetic look of things being pumped into the air, because for a century or two or whatever, noxious gases have been pumped into the air, and they see that and they have a little psychological upset. It doesn't need to be pumped into the air. In fact, turning it into a gas and pumping it into the air takes energy. Now you can harness that energy by making that gas back into a liquid by allowing it to cool and then taking all the elements out of it and recycling them, and you're harnessing all the energy then, you see. So by pumping that into the air, whether it's just water vapour or whatever it is, it's a waste of energy, and people don't like to see it because, like I said, it just reminds you of people dying of pollution disease. Plants are over there. I'm still walking down this track, but as I walk along here, I've noticed that, I know you can't see on the camera yet, I've noticed there's a walkway here that goes across, which means I would imagine that this was a footpath as well. Oh, in fact, looking at it, I know I've been here. I've been across there and walked that way back to the footpath. This is all overgrown, in disrepair. It should be painted. All of that, there's thorns blocking your way, brambles and all sorts there. To get through there now, it'd be like dangerous because you'd have to climb up there, fighting against all those thorns, potentially falling down into there. I know you can't really see, but it's like a ditch, quite a deep one. So to climb up there, I mean, I could probably do it safely, but to climb up there, I could potentially fall down in there. It's certainly not accessible for people with, I wouldn't say limited mobility, but, you know, older people who aren't quite as mobile and agile, shall we say. As I walk back to the barns, I've noticed along this footpath route again, more problems. Over there's another feeding station, and those feeding stations go hand in hand with people shooting off shotguns which are capable of killing people. See? So I could walk this footpath at night. I have a perfect right to, or any time of day, dusk, limited light moments. Do I really need to be worrying about people shooting towards me? No, I don't. I'm nearly back to the houses. We'll just zoom in over there. Another shooting station, another feeding station there, just in front of these houses. Now you could have someone come down to see these people, couldn't you? To say hello, because people live here. I'll just pop round and see so and so. So you go up to the house. On the way, someone shoots a shotgun and catches you with a few pellets in your eye or wherever. Sorry to be graphic, but you know, it's not the done thing, is it? Hey, to put people's lives at risk. So anyway, now I'm going to walk down this way along that side of the house that I just showed you, which will take me back to what should be the playing field access path, which doesn't really exist anymore. So down this track we go. There's a house there, which is the one I just showed you. Along here, just on the left hand side, there's another house. I don't really know much about these houses, how long they've been here, the history of them, I have no idea. If I did, I'd say something about that, but yeah, I mean, I don't recall there being houses here before, but there certainly are houses here. So because there's houses, you can't have like loads and loads of shooting going on around them. I mean, even if these houses shouldn't be here, you know, for instance, like hypothetically, if these were illegal builds, which I don't know if they are, but if they were, that still wouldn't change the fact that you can't be shooting and having pheasant feeding stations and shooting going on around the houses. So, because anybody can come here at any time to see someone and get hurt. So we're walking down this road. So down at the bottom of this track, I have found a gateway. I did see this the other day. I haven't just found it. And there's a great big house in the distance. Now that house, I swear that wasn't there before. You know, I don't like to swear. Even say the word swear I don't like. I find it distasteful. But I am sure that that house wasn't there before. But it looks old-fashioned and like it's been there for a long time. Now, that's not the main issue. I don't know about the planning permissions and stuff like that. I'm just saying it wasn't there before, and now it is. The issue I do take is with this gateway here. Now I remember walking through here and walking that way into there, which is quite nice. It's a nice little walk. I won't go that way. I don't know what's going on that way. I haven't been that way. But here you've got cattle grids. Now cattle grids damage all animals, wild animals and dogs. Severely injure dogs when they fall on these. They break ribs, they snap legs, they rip claws off. It is horrendous. This is a public footpath. This is a cattle grid. As far as I'm concerned, this is an illegal structure. There should be a gate on there. If you want to keep people in, which I hate because that's slavery, but even if you can hypothetically do that, you have a gate. That just injures, it injures anyone that you're trying to keep slave, to keep trapped. And any animal that goes along here, I mean, a dog could escape from Surrey, mooch up here and die on that. Absolutely disgraceful. That's without mentioning the fact that dogs can escape from their slave owners, because all dogs are slave. It's like man's best friend, well, man's best slave. I won't talk much more about that, but I mean, the way dogs are treated, they're forced to have children with people they don't want. You know, the same as any farm animal really is kept slave. All of the dead bodies that are eaten in this country, they're from slave animals that have been forced to reproduce, should we say, which is a bit of a sanitised way of saying it. Absolutely disgraceful. Every single farm animal, slaved, enslaved, forced to reproduce. But anyway, cattle grids are just, I mean, I'm sure they're illegal. I can't imagine any reason why that would be legal, because like I said, anybody could, I mean, I could walk up here at night time and accidentally walk on that and break my leg. Do you see what I mean? The gaps in between those grids were so wide, I could easily put my foot down in there. So, you know, an escaped horse, for instance, could try and run across there and snap its legs. Completely illegal. Absolute disgrace. Right, so here, this is the corner of the playing field here. There's all these fences here. These fences weren't here before, but now they are. Now there's a fence around, well, there's a ditch there. You used to be able to walk across here. I don't know if you still can, because a ditch is there. So you used to be able to walk across here. Well, there's a great big ditch, and you used to be able to go through that gate. This is the playing field. You can't get across there now. So the landscape's been changed here to block access to this playing field from the rear access. So do remember this wonderful tree, which was in perfect health. A giant twin tree. You know, sometimes you have a twin tree. You have two great big trunks coming up from the base. It was very solid and very healthy, but for some reason someone's decided to cut one side of it off there. I mean, it's such a beautiful tree. I mean, it would have been protected. Someone's chopped it down. Look, disgusting that is. What a beautiful tree it was. Not anymore. Well, it still has beauty, but it's got like a great big wound on it. I don't like to say things aren't beautiful. It's still a beautiful tree, but it's like cutting someone's leg off who still wants their leg. You know, we still want that tree to look nice, don't we? You know, it was beautiful. So I'm now walking back along the edge of the playing field, which is on the other side of this rather deep ditch, and the other side, you know, the woodland that was next to the playing field. I presume that is this bit here is the end of that. But there used to be a way across this ditch. I don't think the ditch was there, to be honest. At that end, I really don't. Yeah. Bare minimum, if you've got to put a new ditch in for whatever reason, you have a walkway across because there's a footpath going through here. But obviously, nobody wants to maintain these footpaths, and I think this is all evidence of, obviously, well, willful neglect of footpaths, which is causing people to not access them anymore, and a land grab because of private signs and things which have gone up. People have a right to access the land, and they've got a right to roam across the land, and all the public footpaths are kind of, you know, if they're privately owned, it's access, and if not, then it's common land. And if you're stopping people accessing common land, well, that's illegal. It's against the Constitution. Right, so that's another feeding station there, which it just shows you that all around here they've been shooting, and I've got that shotgun shell to prove that shooting's been going on a footpath. So this is the woodland here, and that's that place back there where I said earlier, I think, about this being part of the footpath. Over there is the sugar beet and the gate. I walked along there and went that way and around. I've come back round that way and through back this way, and so yeah. But obviously this community playing field on the other side of these trees, to take down a signage and put a strap around the gate and stop kids coming here, well, all of these places have been forgotten because people aren't coming out this way now. So somebody doesn't want people to be coming out this way, is what I can see. And whoever's taken down the sign for the community playing field and locked the gate, well, that's definite land grab, isn't it? I mean, that would have been common land because it's a community playing field. It would have been common land. Now, there is also, which I'll show you now, on that playing field, as I go back round that way, there's a foot gate which goes into the playing field, which people used to walk across, and there was a bridge there where there's a ditch. The bridge is gone, so someone's taken that bridge away. It's completely gone. It hasn't just collapsed. Someone's removed it. Now, whoever removed it illegally, because it was a footpath access onto a community playing field, and it should have been replaced like for like, not just removed. So I'll show you that now. I'm pretty sure, I'm very sure that if I explored further around this land, I would find more problems, but I can't really. I'm just going over the places where I walked before that I have memory of, and pointing out to you the legalities and problems that are going on here. You know, that sugar beet is being illegally stored. The private signs are illegal. I will show you the sign back at the main road, where there used to be, there would have been a footpath sign there. I know that. There's going to have been a community playing field sign there as well. It must have been. There's a pavement that leads down to there, to that access point, to keep children safe, which is why the pavement's there. So here, there's a foot gate. It's a narrow gate, you see, about that wide there. Now someone's put a cable around it and tied it off. There used to be a bridge across here. Let me just zoom that out. There used to be a little bridge across here. The bridge is gone. I mean, I don't know. It's definitely not here. I wouldn't want to step into there. But if you look here, I'll zoom in again. You see there's a cable, see that cable? Been wrapped around that gate. So that's the playing field on the other side. I'm going to walk back up to here. Now I'm going to focus on this because obviously we don't like playing fields being taken away from our children. We don't like common land being locked off and signage taken down. I have noticed over on Roydon Common that there is a private company now managing it. They've put all sorts of fences up on common land. They've put commercial cattle on there. Now common land, you're supposed to be allowed to stake a goat on there or whatever, or a horse, and that's it, that's your common land rights. But for some reason, a private company who's supposedly managing the land from a nature reserve perspective has put a load of cattle on there and put loads of barbed wire on there, which can damage wildlife, obviously, and all sorts of bad things going on over there at Roydon Common. One day I saw a crow that had been trapped. Now this is a nature reserve. You can't have wild animals trapped on a nature reserve, but I found a cage with a crow in it. And it had been left in a cage to bait for a fox, which would, both of those animals would have been protected on that land because it's a designated nature reserve. That's at Roydon Common. I have noticed a lot of private signs going up at Sandringham as well. See, look, children can't go here anymore. I've noticed on Sandringham, now I remember there was a pathway from Wolferton to Snettisham Beach, I think it is, which the Queen came down and opened. I remember her going down there, opening it and walking along there, very happy that her estate is open to the public. There were loads of sections of the Sandringham estate which were open to the public, and now a lot of these sections have been closed. There's been private signs put up towards the end of the Queen's life, when she wasn't particularly healthy and she wouldn't have known what was going on, you see. So she opened up this pathway to the beach. It's been closed off, private signs have been put in. The car park that was there now has a barn on it, which looks old, but it's made to look old. It's a new structure, because I parked there and walked my children down to the beach. Now I know the Queen was happy about that, because she went down there and opened it. But now, whoever's running the estate at Sandringham, under the Queen's nose, and now I don't even know if King Charles is aware of it, what's going on there. Lots of the land had private signs put up. It's had fences put up. I mean, I might do a documentary about that to show you the details of it. Temporary fences put up and then left. There's lots of shooting been going on there. There's shooting chairs. There's a skip which I found with loads of beer cans in it, and next to that skip was like a shooting spot where you just walk a little bit further away, there's clay pigeons. So there's people going up there drinking and shooting. Well, you're not allowed to handle a gun in this country if you've been drinking. It's illegal. So that's happening on Sandringham Estate. There's a lot to say there, I won't go into all of it now. But as you know, with the privatisation of this country, all the problems in the schools, children's, middlemen companies coming in and just taking money out of the school system, the catering system. There's like two middlemen between taxpayers' money and children getting their food now, and that's causing a lot of problems. Lots of cutbacks, staff being rushed around, staff being put in dangerous positions with allergic children, all sorts of things like that going on at the moment. The privatisation of the NHS, which is causing dangers because it's just basically using the NHS as a cash printing machine and endangering everyone in the process. But anyway, I'm just going to walk back up to the main road over there and show you the private sign on the road, which it should be a community playing field sign, and there should be a footpath sign there. This corner, just another little shot to show you private sign. You'd see that, you wouldn't realise you could walk there, would you? I mean, you're forced to walk around on the field, which you shouldn't have to do because there could potentially be crops there. So it's basically making that footpath to Southerly inaccessible. you know, loads of people in Hilgay will remember walking that footpath, and loads of maybe 20-year-olds now who used to play at the playing field, however long ago it was, they'll remember playing there. They may even remember going down there and thinking, oh, it's locked and the sign's gone. Oh, maybe we can't play here anymore, and they've stopped going down there. So there's going to be people hopefully watching this thinking, what is going on there? Now, a community field cannot just be taken back or taken away. It would have been designated as common land. I don't think you can have a community field unless it's designated as common land. I don't really know the precise legalities of it, but the local community are going to feel like they've been massively shortchanged. All this lovely places to play for the kids and all this land to access and walk along is now being taken away, you know, by force, by a bunch of men who think that they can just do what they want with the land, make up the rules as they go along, change the law, deny the right to roam, put up private signs, willfully neglect footpath maintenance and signage to stop people going through, all as part of their ability to land grab, stroke, create shooting land where they murder innocent people like pheasants and wild birds and anything really that moves they'll shoot at. It's just an absolute disgrace. I'm telling you, I can't really understand why this has been allowed to happen, and why the people of Hilgay aren't fighting back against this. It's a bit, I don't know, it's difficult to believe. I mean, how many people are in on it? I don't know. I mean, what's to be gained by it? Do local people just want to come down here and shoot? They don't want their kids to have a playing field to play on. Now, there are playing fields in the village, but having another massive one over there was really cool. You know, it's really big. You could go over there and throw one of those aerobie things, you know, those that fly for ages. You know, it's a nice big field, which in Hilgay there isn't a field as big, which is why that land is quite important, really. You could go and fly a kite there and run around for ages. But like I said, the surface of the playing field now, it doesn't even look like you play football on it. It looks like a bit of a bog. It looks like it's been churned up by something, I don't know. But so I'm walking along here towards the main road. I'm going to wrap this documentary up here, I think. Obviously there's more to explore and more to show you probably, but I think that's enough. So the main road here, at the end, I've just come from that direction. There's a stable block there which enslaves horses, which, you know, horses are like man's second best slave, I suppose you'd say. Now if you look here, Waldersley Farms Lodge Farm. Visitors by appointment only, high vis must be worn on site. This sign is illegal. It's basically saying this is private, you can't go there. But this is a footpath. The footpath sign isn't here, it's removed. There's no community playing field sign either. There's the pavement to make it safe for the kids to walk down here, to then go down that way. So yeah, it's basically, this is an attempt. It doesn't say private, no access and stuff like that, but visitors by appointment only, high vis must be worn on site. It's just a deterrent to stop people walking down there, isn't it? People come here, they'll look at that and think, oh, I can't go down there. Not realising they've got a right to roam, you see, because a lot of people in this country, they see these private signs up now, which have been put up, and they think, oh, I can't walk. Well, you can walk along across any agricultural land, as long as you don't damage the crops. As long as you walk along the edge of the fields, you can do that. The only restriction is when there's disease on the land itself, and then they don't want transfer going on, you know, transference of disease, which would be a special restriction put in place, and there'd be signage up all over the place to prevent that from happening. But, you know, this is just private signs being put up. I think we're going to wrap it up there. I'm walking back into Hilgay now. I'll just show you the sign, just to show you that this is where I am. I'm in Hilgay. We want a bit of happiness, You look at the way Hilgay is spelt. It's spelt with one L, Hilgay. See? It's not happy here at the moment, I want to imagine, because of all these things that are going on. Look at that. Look at that miles per hour sign there. Look at that. This is what happens when the local council don't maintain things and they don't care. Look, you can't even see the sign. That's illegal. It's almost like the love in the middle of what we do has been removed. Do you know what I mean? So maybe that's quite an apt way to finish this. Hilgay, not much love going on. Things in disrepair, things being taken away. Miserable ending, eh? This is Hilgay. Just a final little thing to say. Go down here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this might be a council house. The walls need looking at, obviously. But look at this. This fence has been down for quite some time, I believe. Now, I don't know how much they've been moaning about it, or whether they've given up talking about this. I think it's been down for a while. Can the council come and fix this fence, if that's their responsibility? I think it might be. I'm not sure. I'll say it anyway, just on the off chance. If it's privately owned, forget I said anything. If it's a council house, this is in Hilgay. People know where it is that live here. You know, if it's a council house, can someone come and fix that fence? It's been down for some time anyway. It's a bit of a hazard. If it is privately owned, I would suggest someone might need some help to fix that fence. So I would have thought the council would actually want to help fix that fence and take an interest in it being fixed, you know. I don't necessarily have the funds to help them to fix that fence, but who does in this world of, you know, electricity companies charging 3 times more than they used to 10 years ago, even though there's now wind turbines up, which makes the price of producing each unit of electricity far cheaper than ever before. And the government allows this to happen because private hedge funds and financial institutions and large companies that make money from these things, all you have to do is invest in the right place online and you'll make money directly from overcharging your neighbours for electricity. Yeah, people are struggling with £300, £400, £500 to pay on their electricity bills per month when it should be £40 a month. Yeah, or £100 a month if they're using a lot. People are struggling on these things, and all the renewables, I mean, you don't have to dig the coal up, you don't have to burn it. All you have to do is maintain wind turbines designed to last for 50 years that don't need much maintenance. So the price of producing a unit of electricity has dropped through the floor. It costs virtually nothing to produce it now, but they've tripled the price anyway. And you know why? I think people want to repossess all these houses. That's the plan. Starve us out. Anyway, final thought. See you later. So I just remembered I did promise to come this way. I'm at the church in Hilgay, walking up to the church down the long corridor of bushes, which people in Hilgay know. I'm going to walk up here, adjacent to the back of the cemetery on that side. There's a piece of land where you used to walk through. There's a public footpath through there which connected you back across to the place where I started off today. So I just want to show you. Basically, I showed you there was a chain across the road and there was a private sign which I said was a new sign. There was also a private sign put out this way, and I don't know who's put these private signs up because this isn't private land. Anyway, I'm just going to move across the churchyard and show you. There seems to be a massive problem going on in this graveyard at the moment. There's lots of unsafe memorials, it's saying. It says on there, unsafe memorial. I'll show you one closer. We'll walk over this way. It's a bit difficult to understand why these weren't put in correctly to start with. I mean, there's some older ones which may not have been done correctly, but if you look here, there's lots of newer graves here. Well, relatively new, which are all they've got unsafe tags put on them. Now it says do not remove these tags. Now there's loads of them which haven't even got tags on, which are just as unsafe and look well dodgy. I don't understand all of that. It just, all these tags over people's graves. Do you know what I mean? It's not very nice, is it? You don't want to come down here and see all these tags on graves. And like I said, there's loads of them that haven't got them on them, which are just as dangerously wonky and liable to fall over and stuff. I don't know. It's a bit strange. I've never seen that before. See, look, there's two there, equally wonky. Right? I won't walk on any of these graves. But that one's got a tag on it and that one hasn't. I don't get it. Why have those ones been labelled and other ones haven't? I suppose that happens in society as well. You get some people labelled as, you know, different, unacceptable, even though there's loads of graves in here which are very unacceptable, unacceptably about to fall over. They haven't even got labels on them. Someone's picking and choosing, aren't they? They're picking and choosing, and they're picking and choosing not based upon how safe the memorials are in there, but for other reasons maybe, I don't know. It's a bit strange. Very strange. Anyway, I'm walking along here, just come through the graveyard. I'm walking along here, people know where this is. There's the water tower, there's the houses there. Walking along here, and this is the other side of that footpath network, which feeds back across there to where I started this footpath walk today. Now I mentioned to you that somebody had put a sign up which had been removed. So someone has put a sign up to say this is private, which it isn't. I mean, there's this footpath, which I'm now going down, look, you can see it's a path. It's been here for so long. People have been walking down it for so long. Why somebody would now suddenly put up a private sign, I don't know. This isn't a garden. I think this block of land is actually common land as well. I think. Because people used to walk here all the time. I've walked here. But the route through to connect to the other footpath over there, you can't get through there now. It's almost like it's been barriered with bracket and all sorts somehow. I mean, you know, like brambles and stuff. But on this tree here, there was a sign. I know you can't see it now. It said private. And there is a street sign there for a miles per hour sign, which has been stolen and dumped here. Maybe by the same person who put that private sign there. I don't know why that's there. That's a street sign. It's illegal to have that here. But yeah, so that private sign's been removed by probably someone who's upset that it had been put there in the first place. If you go back down there, you go back down to where that chain was, with that private sign, which I said was new. Yeah, it's anyway, that's the end. I shall see you later. Two final thoughts. I've just been over there, walking over there. Here's the graveyard, the church. Now the back wall of the church here should be cast stone faced. The wall was damaged, and whoever came here decided to take all the cast stone away, which should have been put back onto the wall, and just brick it up. Now this wall will be a listed wall because it's a churchyard, a protected wall. It should be replaced like for like. Someone's decided to take the nice old aged cast stone away and just do brick. That's one concern. That would be illegal to do that because it's a protected wall. Secondly, there's a row of houses there, the main road through Hilgay, the water tower there. All of these houses used to have great big gardens on the back of them, which used to extend outwards, which is now a field. But for some reason all those gardens have gone, and now there's just a field. My uncle used to live in one of these houses, and he had a great big paddocks that ran right down the back of the house. It was quite long. I don't know how far down it went. I can't remember where it went, all the way or halfway or whatever. Quite big, which was attached to his house, which he owned. It's all gone. Did all the people who own these houses agree to sell all of their back gardens to the farmer? I don't know. That's a bit strange anyway. Those are my two final thoughts. See you later.
Right.